Yo guys, what's going on? It's FusionBlitzx here, bringing you another gameplay commentary. So I've been shopping around for a gaming laptop recently because I need one next year for school because I'm doing animation, so gonna need some decent horsepower. But I've been doing a lot of research on a lot of laptops, and I think I have researched enough to bring you guys a top 5 list of the best thin and light gaming laptops, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So at number 5, we have the MSI GS60 Ghost Pro. Now this thing has a 15.6 inch 4K panel, but you can also go for a 1080p one if you want. Beautiful screen. Has an i7-4702HQ processor, which is plenty fast. It's an i7, so that's what you expect, and it's a full quad-core chip. Has 16GB of RAM, so you can do just about anything you want on this. Has a GTX 970M with 3GB of video RAM. The 970M is pretty much the go-to card for high-end gaming laptops. It's really fast, and it's probably the most cost-effective solution that you can get, and it'll run games at 1080p just fine. Now for storage, we have 256GB of SSD in RAID 0, and a 1TB hard drive, so you get the best of both worlds here. Now this thing is only 20mm thick, and 2 kilograms in weight. Now that is pretty good. 20mm, that's 2 centimeters. That's like less than an inch. It's like 0.75 inches roughly. I don't really know for you American people out there. But if you've seen a laptop this thin, you'll know it's pretty fucking thin considering the performance you're getting. So, not gonna complain there. Now at number 4, we have the Aorus X3 Plus V3. Now this thing has a 13.9 inch 3200 by 1800 display. And this display is gorgeous. I've seen it a couple of times. It looks beautiful. The resolution is questionable, but doesn't change the fact that it looks beautiful. Now for the CPU, we have the i7-4710HQ, which has a base clock of 2.5 GHz, which again is plenty for this laptop. It has 16GB of system RAM, which is more than enough, as I've said before. But this time it has a GTX 970M with 6GB of video RAM. Now this is going to be helpful, especially when playing games at higher resolutions. Like, some games nowadays are just poorly optimized. But the 6GB of video RAM, that's really going to help you out when playing games at higher resolutions. And the 970M only can play games at high resolutions if you just turn down the settings just a bit. Now this thing has a 512GB SSD, which is in RAID 0, so it's plenty fast, and 512GB of SSD storage is nothing to scoff at. Now this thing is only 23mm thick, which is still reasonably thin, and it's only 1.8 kilograms, so it's pretty damn light. So pretty much nearly a perfect notebook for a college student on the go. The only thing that's questionable on this model is the build quality slightly. Like, you can get a shoddy model and the thing might not just feel as good as some other laptops, but it's still pretty good. Now at number 3, we have the Gigabyte P35X V3. Now this thing has a 15.6 inch 1080p IPS panel, which is just perfect for 15.6 inches. 1080p just looks really good at this screen size, so good job on Gigabyte for that. Has an i7-4710HQ processor, 16GB of RAM, but here we have a GTX 980M with 8GB of video RAM. Now this thing is just plain overkill for this resolution, but I can't deny the games look really good on this machine. The 8GB of video RAM is really going to help out when you are playing games at high resolutions, say if you connected your laptop to an external monitor. So at that, it's a really powerful GPU, and it does really well. It's like nearly a desktop 970, and that thing is pretty much a beast. So that's that out of the way. Now for storage, we have 256GB of SSD in RAID 0 once again, and a 2TB hard drive, so you are getting a lot of machine in this little laptop. It's not that heavy at 2.2 kilograms, and it's not even that thick at 21mm. Now that's really thin, that's really light, and that's really fucking powerful. But the build quality again is a bit shoddy because it is so thin and it's got a unibody design, so it's going to have some weaknesses here and there, like with the screen. But still, it's a very good laptop. Now at number 2, we have the Acer Aspire V Nitro. Now this thing is really nice. It has a 15.6 inch 1080p panel, which again looks amazing. It has an i7-4702HQ CPU, which again is really good. 16GB of RAM, which is really good. Now the GPU is nowhere near as good as the other ones on this list. It has a GTX 960M, but it has 4GB of video RAM, so that's that. It's not that powerful, but it is really good considering the whole aesthetic of the laptop. It's more oriented as a business laptop that can play games after hours, which is pretty cool. It looks pretty sleek, so that's nice. It has 128GB SSD and a 2TB hard drive, so again, best of both worlds. Now this thing is a little bit thicker at 24mm, but it doesn't look that thick because the edges are tapered in, so it looks thinner than it really is. But it is a bit heavy at 2.4 kilograms, but that's more of a testament to its build quality than, you know, anything else. So this laptop is perfect for those people that don't want to look silly with all the gamer bling, because it's a very understated laptop, and you get pretty good performance as well, and it's not that expensive either, so pretty much the businessman's gaming laptop. Now number one, some of you might have seen this coming, but I put the Razer Blade 2015 in the number one spot. Now why did I do this? Well, it has a 14-inch 3200 by 1800 touch screen. Like, touchscreen is actually really useful with Windows 8 because Windows 8 is so gesture-based that having a touchscreen is actually quite useful, so good job on Razer for that. It has an i7-4702 HQ processor, 16GB of RAM, a GTX 970M, up to 512GB SSD. It's 18mm thick, which is just absolutely tiny, and it's only 2 kilograms. Now this thing is pretty much first because of its amazing build quality. This is pretty much the MacBook of Windows gaming PCs. It looks exactly like a MacBook, I'm not gonna lie. Razer probably ripped off the design pretty much everywhere. The screen, it looks nearly identical, the body itself looks nearly identical, even the hinge mechanism is pretty much the same as you would find on a MacBook Pro. But I'm not gonna fault them on that. It's beautiful, it's powerful, it's everything that a MacBook should be, but it isn't. So that's why I give the Razer Blade the number one spot. Now, if you buy any one of these laptops, you're gonna have a good time. Except for the Razer Blade, because that thing costs a fucking shit ton. Like $3,500 Australian for the 120GB model. That's pretty fucking expensive, and if you don't have big, deep pockets, that's gonna hurt you a lot. But if you have the money, the Razer Blade is good. If you have less money, everything else on this list will serve you just fine. Just watch out for the build quality on some of them. So that's all I have to talk about in this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching. Peace out.